He resigned.
I think we'll get started.
November 22nd.
Okay. A couple of things I want to do before we actually get started. I do want to thank everybody who's here tonight, that's taking your time to come out and hear these candidates. We need to look at their platforms, what they stand for, what they're going to do for us, and get to know them.
Microphone closer.
Closer?
Yes.
Okay. Who we have here tonight, we've got Mark Gulabi, I hope I pronounced that right. Gulabi, who is running for Texas governor. We also have Susan Valiant, who is running for House District 94. And we also have Mayor Brad Horton from Kennedale here tonight. And he is running for House District 96. Hey, my district! So, welcome everybody. And I do want to say just a couple of other things here. Just to remind everybody, I hope all of you are MAGA people, but I want to go over the 5 pillars of MAGA. I think we have forgotten those things. A lot of people have. And the first one is America first. We have to make our country first and think of our country, or we'll fall. The next one is to secure our borders. Look at what's happened the last 4 years. We don't want to get into any more pointless wars. I'm tired of paying for other people's wars. We need economic renewal and real jobs for our citizens here in America. And one of the other things, the last one, is our free speech, which is our right. So I wanted just to kind of remind everybody about those pillars, because they really show us what we are in our Constitution, and we need to fight for those every single day. When I meet my Maker and he asks me, what did you do to help me save America? I'm going to tell him I did, and I fought, and I did what I could, Lord. That's me. I'm just not going to go up there and say, oh, I don't move. No, I didn't move. So I get disgusted when I see and talk to people in my precinct that doesn't even know we had an election. They don't even know what they're voting on. And I said, how can you not be an American citizen and not knowing to vote? If you don't vote, you have somebody else tell you how you're going to live. So we need to get out the word that people need to vote. Okay, so I am going to hand it over. I think we're going to go ahead and have Mark, do you want to come up first? Oh, that's right. Before we get started, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do you want to use your phone? What's this?
So appreciate everything about tonight, and I'm sure they have the parade tonight too. So I don't think I'm here All right, sorry about that. Give people and let y'all know what they want to bring and the challenges that they're looking to solve, and we've got a lot of them. Veterans Day, I think that to take a moment and honor the veterans. And I think one of the things, all right, as Cindy said, one of the best ways to honor the veterans is to exercise the Constitution that they went to protect. Voting is one, exercising your free speech, and getting involved in what's happening in our state. It's very, very critical. And when I look around and I look at our country, and America is the only free country, right? Okay. When we started, we were up against a world of divine monarchs. Okay. Today, we're up against the divine socialists. Okay, in the rest of the world. And I think we need to really focus on the fact that America's freedom. Okay, and as Reagan said, right, freedom is always one generation from extinction. You go through and you look at those two words, always and extinction, those are very, very permanent words. And so to me, when I look at America and I look at where we are today, I also go through and I look at Texas is the linchpin for America. And we need a governor that understands that the honor of having that distinction of being the most sovereign of the sovereign states and the responsibility that goes with it, right? To go through there and secure the border. We've talked about this many times today. Joanne Fleming was at a function. She said, is the Texas border ready for post-Trump America? And then you realize it's not, okay? And the government, the state of Texas, needs to realize the fact that the Texas border and the U.S. border are the same is an issue of geography, not sovereignty. And all the government has to say is, okay, look, hey, U.S. government, you don't want to protect your border. That's your business, right? But I'm going to protect the Texas border because I'm here to preserve the lives, the livelihoods, and private property of citizens who are like, we need a government with that attitude as far as I'm concerned. So, back to also, one of the things that I talk about, the website's good governance out today, and of course, good governance, what does that mean? And I already want to start off with this, which is, first of all, prayers and thanksgiving be offered everyone for those in authority, that we may lead quiet and tranquil life in devotion to dignity. This is pleasing to God, who wills everyone to be saved and come to the knowledge of truth. That's the first letter to Timothy, okay? And when I look at that, I go through and say, that's kind of, to me, what good governance is. Good governance, all right, is more interested in your surpluses, not government surpluses. Governments don't have surpluses, they have overcut taxes, all right, and we can solve that. We can solve that by just going through and saying, cut the sales tax by 1%. You cut the sales tax by 1%, right? That's $16 billion left in the economy. And it benefits every Texan, whether you own property or not, right? You're going to be paying less. I was talking to a 10-year-old one time. I said, you're going to pay less for a candy bar, okay? Every Texan benefits by going through and cutting that. And you go through there, you're going to take right out of inflation, okay? You're going to be able to go through there and say, people will be able to say, we're talking about some of the larger purchases that you make, okay? And yes, it applies to those things. So as people go through and start to look at this, like I say, it's $16 billion. And you go, oh my gosh, what happened? Well, nothing, because there's $7 billion left. That's how overtaxed we are. We can actually go through there and cut their revenue by $16 billion, and they still have $7 billion available for whatever else they want to do. And what is some of the stuff they want to do? They come in there and they take too much of our money, and then they turn around, what do? They send it to Hollywood. We're supposed to live and subsidize millionaires in Hollywood to make movies in California. That's ludicrous. Let's see, Thomas Jefferson says, and I'll kind of paraphrase it, right? To take a man's money and use it for things he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. That was one of the big things of why I got into this, okay? I was thinking, yes or no, should I? When he didn't veto that bill, that was, okay, that's it. I'm going to get in this race, and we're going to be talking about...
Good evening, active members. The time is now 7:30. We will be closing in 30 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, I got fast. Let me see. So the other big one, let's go through that other one. So let's go. The other big one that I have, right, is again for good governance, is that parents and taxpayers should have more influence and direct control over our education system. right? Right now, we have a guy there who's been appointed by the government, he's been there for 10 years. Does anybody want to go through and look at the math, the reading, and the writing scores 2 years ago, and look where they are today? You go through there and say, that's by design. These people have been appointed, they do it. They don't go in there and say, I think I'll defy the government. Well, you can, but we'll find you another job, because you're gone, right? So we need to be thinking about that. We need to have an elected state board, Texas Education Agency Commission. And we're talking about this, Mary, I talked a little bit about this, as far as you have 20 Texas education regions, all right? 15 SBOEs. That doesn't even make sense, okay? And so what I'd like to see us do is go through there, go back to 15 regions that are directly tied to the SBOE, so that they have more reps. So now we have elected schools with elected SBOE and elected Texas Education Agency Commission. And now we put the I back into the school district, right? Because the parents and taxpayers, right? This person should be accountable to them, not the government, right? And that's how we need to go through that. So nobody's going to campaign across the state and start talking about being able to, oh, I know, I'm not going to do anything about the discipline in your schools. Well, you're not going to get elected. Oh, I'm going to keep these nasty books in the schools. You're not going to get elected. And you're going to go through there and you're going to go to the legislature as an elected official and say, hey, man, I need your legislative help because to be able to get elected, I need to have discipline in the classroom. That's the biggest thing there, right? Okay? Because the lack of discipline. These teachers don't have it. Anybody in the situation those people are in right now would be up in HR under sexual harassment for what these kids are doing to some of these teachers. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that it happens and that it just perpetuates itself. So with that, I will make sure everybody has a good chance to time. So I will sit down and who's next? See you next. Susan?
I'll let Susan go next.
Okay. And then we're going to hang around for some questions, but so good coverage of today is my website, Mark Holiday, Texas again. So there you go.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out. And my name is Susan Valiant, and I'm running for Texas House District 94. I am been a resident for Arlington for the last 40 years. I went to UTA, and anyway, my top priorities are to eliminate property taxes, and then also to restore local control. Those are my main issues. And then also election integrity. With the property taxes that we have, one of the ways that I would like to eliminate the property taxes is to, first of all, we're going to have to get rid of the spending. We can talk about doing consumption tax or a VAT tax, which I'm not quite in favor of that, or sales tax as being the revenue source. But we can't do any of that or have those discussions until we actually get rid of cut the spending. And I call it cut the bleeding. And as a nurse, that's what I want to do, is always cut the bleeding. And one of those ways we can do that, though, is to, on our agencies, we have 150 agencies in Texas. And we can combine some of those, because we've got like 10 water districts, like the Blanco Water Authority, Guadalupe, the Upper Guadalupe, Lower Guadalupe, Upper Colorado, Lower Colorado. Those are all water agencies that can be under the water board, that kind of thing. And I also did some digging even deeper and found that the state bar actually has 5 programs, and one of those programs is a DEI program. I mean, this is our judicial system that we're talking about. Yeah, that doesn't need to be in there. Things like that we can cut and get back to sensible fiscal responsibility. Then after we get all that, then we can probably talk about, which we may not even need to talk about having sales tax when you get rid of all of that stuff. Also, we had a $24 billion surplus this year. We only got $6 billion back. That's a quarter of what we actually overpaid. We overpaid. And that means The first bill I want to do is 100% of that comes back to the property owners. As it should, because we're the ones that overpaid it. And instead of them blowing it, like you said, on Hollywood, and we actually grew government. There was the Texas Regulatory Office, which is like the Texas Doge, but we already have a Sunset Division. So why do we need that? It's just a duplicate agency. And then also they started the Texas Institute of Health. We already have a National Institute of Health, so why do we need that? Other things that we have, I was just wondering, it just dinged in my head, that I found out was also that there's 5 agencies that they don't have a net zero in their balance budget, or in their budgets, so they have like a surplus each session. Like, for instance, the retired teachers have a $35 million surplus, but all they did was roll it over into the next year. Well, why is that not going to the retired teachers? As it should. I mean, that's where it belongs. Yes. So then, of course, then the other issue was the restore local control, because they passed a bill this session, SB 840, that took the planning and zoning away from our city councils. Of course, it's for populations that are 150,000 or greater right now, but they're slowly chipping away at our city councils and our voice. Yeah, and our control. I mean, we know better how our cities are supposed to work than they do. And then, of course, election integrity. I've done a lot of work with election integrity. I work with some great, awesome sister patriots, we're called. That we actually discovered the secrecy of ballots. That means that your ballot can be exposed if it's the countywide voting. If I voted over at Saginaw, and I'm the only one from my precinct that voted over there, then I would be able to pick out that ballot from that ballot box, and I would be able to tell you exactly how I voted. Yes. And that should be, that's actually against the law, 122.001. That all voting systems have to be transparent and they have to be secret. Well, this actually finally made it up the chain to the AG and the Secretary of State's office. And what did they do? They issued an advisory, and that advisory was to redact all the precinct information off of there and all the polling locations and any other identifiable information on your ballot or any election records. So now we can't audit our elections, which is another violation of Texas election code 122.001. So there's just, it's like rules for you and me, but not for me, you know? And that shouldn't be. And our elections should be transparent. We should be able to audit them. I mean, how do we know that they're fair? You know? We don't. Well, at least not Tarrant County, or Texas actually now, because they redacted all that information. So those are my main issues. I do have, school issues too, that I want to get our schools back to basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, and get all the social issues out of schools. That's a big one. And of course, we did get rid of the STAR test, so I'm really happy about that. So now teachers, hopefully we can get teachers teaching back to teaching, do what?
There's 3 now.
Yeah, that's 3.
Oh, that,
They get rid of the star.
oh, there's
There's
3. And now they can substitute it.
There's
You
3
erased it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Repackaged.
But I thought they actually got rid of it, but, yeah. So, the what?
They got rid of the single star.
Single star, yeah, now it's multiple star. Yeah, so, I want teachers to get back to teaching the kids instead of having any of the social issues. That needs to be kept out of the schools. And, but I would love to have your support and your vote and any volunteership if you would like. I've got a sign-up sheet out there for you. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Yes, ma'am.
So, one of the things that I would be interested in seeing someone move forward is that in Texas, So the comptroller has given that, the oversight of that to a third party. And so we cannot do a public information request or a FOIA request because the third party does not have to come up with a non-governmental agency. So I would like to see if they're going to be funded and they have a contract with the state, that they have to comply. And, because that's the only way there's any real transparency in government. That's the only way that we can stop all the fraud and abuse and, frankly, the crony vendor bills that then end up being donations back to a politician. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that. Is that the sort of thing that you would work with citizens and hold government accountable and create transparency?
Absolutely. I'm thinking that any contract that we have with the state, or the state has a contract with a vendor, that right there allows you to have a public information request. Just that link alone, just so, I mean, the people need to know where their money's going. You know, I mean, that state money is our money. And we should be able to have, where is it going? And we should be able to audit them as well. I mean, that's just kind of a no-brainer to me. But I'm all about transparency, so.
Good luck with the elections, because they are definitely, this last election showed that they are definitely still a mess.
Oh, yes, yeah, there's still a lot of work, and so we just learned too that, because I have a friend that's actually got a program for the elections, for voter rolls. And about 2 months ago, they started dumping a bunch of duplicate voters. They have the same name, same address, same birthday, different voter IDs. And yeah, we got to clamp down on that because, and I'm sure they voted, you know, they could have voted twice. Yeah, and did y'all see New York's ballots? Where they have different categories, like there's a Republican, a Democrat, a conservative, then there's a pro-life, and there's like 6 or 7 different categories. And you can be in more than one category. So they can mark two different things. They can, like McKnight, you know, he could have, yes, liberal, and he's also, yes, he's also a Democrat. They could put 2 marks on there. So you know they're counting twice. You know? And maybe we don't have that yet, but we gotta keep, that's what we gotta do is keep that stuff from coming here. Yeah. But, yes.
Susan, there is a thing that I think we need to consider on election law. Right now, the governor appoints the secretary of state. Right now, we have 30 violations and waivers of election law issued by the secretary of state, which is supposed to protect us from having violations. So all of it's coming right out of the election division of the secretary of state. And the secretary of state is beholden to the governor. We need to separate that.
Right, I think the Secretary of State, we should get that, they should be elected. I mean, it still has pros and cons to it, but they should be elected. I think superintendents should be elected. I mean, they're making, they're making $400,000 a year, I mean, and we should be able to, that's our money. We should be able to elect superintendents as well, because that's another issue.
The school board, I believe that the attitude is that the school board advocates its position of setting policy, and they say we just let the superintendent run the school. And that happens a lot, and that is non-elected.
Good evening, active member.
No oath of
Yeah,
office,
the Senate will be
no
closing in
oath of
15
office is
minutes.
critical.
Thank you.
And
Have a nice
they do
evening.
not take the oath of office, they're just a hiring.
Yeah.
And it needs to stop.
Yes.
Susan, this is not a question, it's just a point of interest if you look. Recently, the government salaries were published, and I looked to see who the highest paid official was. $800,005 goes to the CIO of the Texas Teachers Retirement System.
See, yeah, that's, I mean, The TEA needs to be audited.
Yes.
It needs to be audited and streamlined.
So the
Yes.
DEA is being audited, a demonstration.
Oh, you are, okay.
Representative Ramos, and actually she did it at our request, she got a forensic audit added to the budget, it's a line item in the budget, so we should be getting that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I want to see the results of that. That's going to be good.
We all do.
Yes, yes. Because they're the ones that set the rules on how much money that they need. And then that goes to the comptroller. And of course, the comptroller is one that goes to the appraisers to make sure that they do appraisals high enough to cover that budget with the TEA. It's a big graphic, yes. Yeah. And if we eliminate property taxes, we eliminate the CAD boards, yeah, the appraisal boards. So then we wouldn't have to mess with all of that stuff. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for coming out. My name is Susan Valiant, again, Texas House District 94. And thank you all.
All right, I see everybody ready to go, so I'll be brief. Ms. Dan and Mr. Niche, thank you guys for having me tonight. Been great getting to chat with you both. My name is Brad Horton, and I'm the current mayor of the city of Kennedale, Texas. I am a CPA, a certified fraud examiner, and I'm a small business owner. Different story for a different day, but I spent 15 years working for the IRS, and that kind of shaped my worldview a little bit. And I saw firsthand what red tape and endless bureaucracy will do to stifle business growth. So, why am I doing this? And, that's a great question. And at the end of the day, it's because I want my kids, I want your kids, grandkids, to inherit the Texas that we grew up in. And you look out there today, and can you honestly tell me that it's the same as it was? Because none of us are ever going to own our home in state state. We're going to perpetually rent it from the government. That's got to stop. And I get a call at least once a week from a senior asking me to help with their property taxes or get a price out of it. And we have an obligation to do something about it, and we can. Additionally, you look back when we were raised, we were raised to be proud, to be Americans, proud to be Texans. And we've got some ideologies out there, not only in our classrooms, but in city governments, even some county governments, state government, if you will, teaching groups of people to hate each other. And that's got to go. That is not conducive with who we are as people, where we're going, what we want to be. And additionally, we're all concerned with our border. We all have seen what's happened in the past 4 years. We have every right to stop the invasion in our border. And it's something that's got to give. And on top of that, if people are going to come here and be Texans, then they need to be Texans. When we have folks coming here that are starting communities with ideologies that are counter to the U.S. Constitution, counter to the Texas Constitution, I'm sorry, but they don't belong here. And it's easy for me to get up here and talk tough. I know it's one thing to say I'm not going to go down to Austin, I'm not going to make friends, blah, blah, blah. But I do take on the man for a living. I do take on the IRS for a living, and I actually enjoy it. As mayor of the city of Kennedale, I have upset the establishment. I've been investigated twice. I have had 3 ethics complaints filed against me. I've been sued. All false, all fraudulent, of course. But, be that as it may, I think it's fair to say that I've upset the right people. And I will continue to upset the right people. So, be that as it may, again, I'm running to preserve Texas. I want my kids, I want your kids, I want our grandkids to have Texas be Texas for them. That great American dream. And I'd be honored with your votes. My website is BradHortonForTexas.com, Facebook page, Brad Horton for Texas. Yes, sir.
Are you a fan of mine, Harrison?
Yes, sir. He wants to blow it up. He's a flamethrower from what I hear. So, although I will say he's an Aggie, I'm a Longhorn. So.
Oh, okay.
But you get to Texas for business, which is the best.
I actually got my undergraduate degree in government. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I did get a business master's from UTA, and I actually taught at UTA. So that's awesome. But thank you all very much for your time. Thank you for having me. It was an honor to be here.
Hi, I'm nobody. I'm not running for nothing. I'm not qualified to be nothing. But I'm here to ask you to sign some signature sheets. So, most of us know, some may not, that James Younger was allowed to go to California and is currently being chemically castrated by the Supreme Court of Texas on the civil side. 4 of those seats are up for election currently. Nobody ever runs for those types of seats because they're avid appointees, and that'll destroy your career. Until today. I have sign-up sheets back here to challenge at least 2 of the 4 Supreme Court justices on the civil side. If you would like to give Texas a choice, there may be somebody who wouldn't send a child to be castrated, feel more than happy to sign it. That's the only reason I'm here. I will be touring the entire state of Texas, all 14 judicial regions, and I will be doing this because I promised to do this 2 years ago when they sent a boy to be castrated. I don't care what you call yourself, you're not a Republican. Have a great day. Dr. Brooks McKenzie, peace out.
I do want to thank everybody that did come out tonight, and if you want to ask them questions individually, I'm sure that they'll stay around for a little bit, but we appreciate you showing up. We do have some goodies over there if anybody would like some and water, so thank you so much for coming out and seeing these candidates.
Guys, the clock is ticking. February 2nd, last day for people to register to vote. Tuesday, February 17th, first day of early voting. It's going to be cold. Everybody needs to have a lot of volunteers lined up tomorrow to work on Tuesday, February 17th. If anybody needs a 6 weeks notice to their boss, here it is. Go make it happen.
Okay. So now everybody's schmoozing, getting some food. Grill everybody.
This one's Kevin Geary, and these 2 guys actually, these 2 are challenging criminal and Geary's the only one to keep practicing right to prosecute election integrity. So things last time, we're about to drink coffee now, and one more will be the main messenger. We'll have 5 out of 9 positions to look at. On the other side, we have the boss by himself, with 2 or 3, and now they can jack up all kinds of things. Justice in some cases, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 6. Now we have 2, so it's going to be what it really does though, it needs to be at this time of this control. The people doing this against the advocates decide not to go away. They control the power. We're going to restrict the black pull them all together. That thing went all the way up. So we're going to rip this stuff off. Advocates won't have any power. They're going to give $60 million. So you got to push yourself around. You're not working. You're not working. So what do I do? Experimental and developmental psychology. So I used to be the assistant director of research to shop development attached programs called TBRI, Trust Based Relational Intervention. And it's known statewide and nationally as like children such as CPS, which we got into the public I've actually every single correction in 2006 pissed me off. So I'm not going to charge you with child abuse state policy and I have to turn that into we still have time to live. Part of me coming out of the disaster, so my resolution, I've got it written, I just need to double check it. I've gone through separate resolutions, stop that date, just not tax acquiescence, allowed to happen, and we violated our principles. I've got 128 violations, just by refusing to do it. I'll be like, hey, let's get up because I will start to be I got people out on this prison all over the state. Or they'll kill me. It's a whole lot of stuff. That's why I was at. That's why I was at the university. So I'm going to quickly. I'm going to
So I do feel to local people basically that people freely continue to do it. But I want to know what's wrong.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop this stream. Find your candidates for the primary. Everybody has till December 8th to file. And then go work the field. Talk to y'all later.